Today's story was sent to us by our listener, Rahul. I will read it out exactly as he sent it. The story is a little scary, a little painful, but real. I hope you listen till the end. Assalamu alaikum, sister. I am a regular listener of yours. I always watch your videos, especially when I'm alone at night. Since this platform also highlights the dark sides of life, I am daring to send my story. This is not fiction. It is a chapter of my life that I wish to forget, but cannot. So, let's begin. It was a deep new moon night. The sky was like a vast blanket of black ink, where a few stars tried in vain to twinkle before fading away. Far from the city, nestled in the dim shadows of dense wild bushes and dilapidated ancient trees on the abandoned land of an old king, stood the five-star hotel Raj Mahal. From the outside, it looked like a luxurious dreamland, an exquisite creation painted by an artist's brush. Its golden domes would cast a mysterious glow in the moonlight, if there was a moon, and its sparkling glass windows would shimmer in the sunlight during the day. But hidden beneath the hotel's splendor was a sigh, a history of untold sorrow. Every wall inside seemed to whisper tales of suppressed cries and humiliation, audible only to sensitive ears. It was almost midnight. Nature's fierce form that day seemed to have descended to witness the cursed history of Raj Mahal. A stormy wind accompanied by torrential rain. The old willow trees groaned in fear at the wind's intensity, and raindrops lashed against the hotel's sturdy glass doors like mad waves. Just then, defying the ominous storm, a shadowy figure approached the hotel's brightly lit entrance. He was clad in tattered, old-fashioned clothes that clung to his body, bearing witness to time. His body was soaked in rainwater, as if he had been walking in this rain for many years. His name was Alok Barman, though this name was a forgotten history, a lost memory to the hotel's current employees. In his hand was a broken umbrella, which offered him no protection from the raging storm, but rather symbolized his helplessness. The moment he stood before the hotel's grand golden-patterned doors, security guard Ranjit Singh, his forehead creased with deep lines of irritation. Ranjit was a large man, his face always stern and rough. He habitually scoffed at the sight of a poor man, blocked his path, and said in a harsh voice, "Hey, old man, what do you want here? This isn't a beggar's den. Hit the road. Go from here. Don't make a mess." Alok Barman's pale face held a strange calm that transcended his outward poverty, exuding a sense of self-respect. His gaze was steady, as if he was looking not at Ranjit, but at his inner soul. He said in a trembling voice, I need a room. I've come a long way. This hotel, it's very familiar to me." His eyes were deeply sunken in their sockets, and in that gaze was a profound emptiness, bearing the weight of 1,000 years of fatigue and lost dreams. The guard burst into hearty laughter. His laughter merged with the sound of the rain, creating a grotesque symphony. "A room? Did you hear that? This old man wants a room in Raj Mahal. Father, do you even have 10 rupees in your pocket? The price of a cup of tea here is more than your lifetime earnings." He almost pushed Alok Barman away with his massive body. Riya Sharma, the arrogant young woman sitting in the bright reception light, scoffed at this sight. Her face showed clear signs of haughtiness. She told the guard over the intercom, "Ranjit, chase him away. The hotel's reputation is being ruined. What will the guests think? People like him shouldn't be allowed in here." Riya looked at her expensive nail polish, as if they were more important than this incident. Alok Barman now looked at Riya. His cold, steady gaze seemed to make Riya tremble inside. Her heart pounded with an unknown fear. Riya, who had till now thought of them merely as beggars, saw no sign of beggary in these eyes. He slowly said, "Mother, just let me meet the manager once. Just tell him my name, Alok Barman." His voice was weak, but it carried a kind of unwavering conviction, as if this name held a special power. Ria became even more annoyed and said, "The manager isn't sitting around for worthless people like you. Go from here, or I'll have to call the police." And Alok Barman? Who is that? Ria's voice now clearly showed irritation. In the midst of this commotion, the hotel manager, Saurav Malhotra, emerged from his luxurious cabin. Saurav was a young man intoxicated with the arrogance of wealth, his face displaying the haughtiness of power and affluence. He looked at the old man from head to toe and grimaced in disgust. "What is going on here? How did this filthy man get in? Ranji, what are you doing?" The guard said, "Sir, I was chasing him away, but he wants to meet you. And he's calling himself Alok Barman." Saurav stood before the old man. A strong scent of expensive perfume emanated from his body, creating a strange contrast with the old man's wet clothes. "What do you want? Money? Couldn't you find another place to beg? And Alok Barman? I don't know anyone." Alok Barman calmly said, "I've only come to return to my room. This hotel is mine." Saurav could no longer control himself. Old stories he had heard from his grandfather, where an old beggar was driven out of the hotel, echoed in his ears. He shouted, "Your room? Is this hotel your father's? Get out of here!" With that, he himself forcefully pushed the old man's shoulder, throwing him outside. The old man fell on the slippery stairs, wet with rain. His forehead split open, and a thin stream of blood mixed with the rainwater. The guests in the lobby either laughed or looked away, as if the scene was a form of entertainment for them. The suffering of such poor people seemed utterly out of place with their luxurious lives. Only a young bellboy, Rahul, ran towards him. Rahul was an exception in this hotel. He had humanity and empathy in his heart. He took out a handkerchief from his pocket and tried to wipe the old man's forehead. "Father, you're badly hurt. Are you all right? Come, let me take you inside."
The old man looked at Rahul and smiled a strange smile. There was no pain in that smile, but a deep mystery, a hint of an unknown promise. His days seemed to recognize Rahul's inner compassion. He whispered, "The walls of this hotel know many old truths, my boy. Tonight those truths will awaken. What was mine, I will take back." With that, he vanished into the darkness, as if he wasn't a flesh and blood person, but merely a shadow that merged with the wind. Rahul stared in wonder, a deep curiosity and fear settling in his heart. No sooner had the old man left than a strange game began inside the hotel, surpassing even the storm outside. First, the reception computers started turning on and off by themselves. Ria saw the same name repeatedly appearing on the screen, Alok Barman, in blazing red letters. Then muffled crying sounds emanated from the intercom, as if an invisible child was weeping or an old woman was wailing. Ria screamed in fear. No more arrogant words came from her throat. Saurabh Malhotra, sitting in his luxurious office, dismissed these incidents as technical problems. He thought it was an old wiring issue or something due to the rain. But a few moments later, the temperature in his office rapidly dropped. Despite the AC being off, his room became as cold as ice, making his breath condense. Instead of the expensive perfume scent, he smelled damp earth and the rotting smell of old wood, as if he was sitting inside a very old abandoned shack. Suddenly, the files on his table began to fly around like a storm and accumulated in a corner of the room. Saurabh saw an indistinct shadow standing in that corner, its eyes glowing like red embers, like the fires of hell. Meanwhile, on the 13th floor of the hotel, which had been closed for many years and always avoided by employees, a mournful piano tune began to play. The melody was so heartbreaking that everyone saddened. Guests started calling the reception in fear. Some said they saw the shadow of an old man in their room mirrors, staring at them. Others said they heard scratching sounds at their doors, as if a wild animal was trying to open the door from outside. An atmosphere of terror prevailed throughout the hotel. The kind bellboy, Rahul, became worried watching all this. His heart told him this was no mere technical problem. He went to the hotel's oldest employee, storekeeper Ram Singh Kaka. Ram Singh had been working in this hotel for 40 years. He knew the story of every wall in the hotel. Hearing everything from Rahul, his face turned pale with fear, as if he was recalling a very old and terrifying memory. Ram Singh began in a trembling voice. My boy, the old man you saw is no ordinary person. He is the true owner of this hotel, Alok Burman. About 40 years ago, he built this hotel with his blood, sweat and tears. He loved his employees like his own children, taking their joys and sorrows as his own. But at that time, the hotel manager was Saurabh's grandfather, Bikram Malhotra. He was a greedy devil. He conspired to snatch the ownership of the hotel from Alok Babu. On a stormy night just like tonight, Bikram Malhotra insulted Alok Babu as a beggar and threw him out of the hotel. That very night he was hit by a car in front of the hotel and died. Since then, strange things have been happening in this hotel. People say Alok Babu's spirit still roams this hotel, waiting to return to his room, seeking justice for the injustice done to him. Hearing this, Rahul's body cooled. He realized that tonight Saurav had made the exact same mistake his grandfather had. Alok Burman's spirit had returned tonight for revenge, to reclaim his lost honor. As the night progressed, the hotel situation became even more terrifying. All the hotel lights flickered on and off as if an invisible force was operating the switches. The lift started going to the 13th floor and getting stuck, with darkness and icy cold air inside whenever the doors opened. The expensive chandelier in the lobby began to swing violently, as if an invisible force was trying to tear it down. Pieces of glass from the chandelier threatened to break off. Guests locked themselves in their rooms in fear. Some even thought of jumping out of the hotel windows to escape. As Ria, trembling with fear, tried to escape, she saw the old man standing next to her reflection in the large mirror opposite the reception. Blood was dripping from the old man's face, and he pointed a finger at Ria as if taking revenge for her insult. Ria collapsed to the ground unconscious and did not recover. The most terrifying fate awaited Saurav. He tried to enter the hotel's safest room, the panic room. The door was extremely strong, bulletproof. But as he opened the door, he saw darkness inside, and from within that darkness, two red eyes stared at him, as if he had entered an abyss. A chilling voice echoed, "Where will you run? Saurabh, I have returned to my room. Your injustice, your grandfather's injustice, everything will be accounted for tonight." Saurabh saw Alok Burman's ghostly spirit standing before him. His body was transparent, but his face burned with intense hatred and the fire of revenge. As the spirit reached out to Saurav, Saurav felt as if 1,000 ice knives were piercing his body. He saw all the injustices and conspiracies committed by his grandfather flash before his eyes, as if everything was replaying in a flashback. He felt Alok Burman's pain, humiliation, and the agony of death, which completely devastated him mentally. Forgive me, Saurabh screamed, but no sound came from his throat. Foam came out of his mouth. He fell to the ground writhing. Just then Rahul ran to the spot. In his hand was an old photograph of Alok Burman, which he had found in the storeroom. The picture of Alok Burman was of his youth, with simplicity and dreams on his face. Rahul bravely said, "Father, please calm down. We will seek justice for the injustice done to you. This hotel is yours and will always be yours. Let your soul find peace." At Rahul's words, a measure of peace returned to the terrifying spirit's face. It averted its gaze from Saurabh and looked at Rahul. The fire in its eyes slowly faded. The red color seemed to pale. The large clock in the lobby chimed 3 o'clock, and immediately Alok Burman's ghostly spirit slowly dissolved into the air. But before leaving, it pointed a finger at an old picture in the hotel, as if leaving a secret message. The next morning, the hotel's atmosphere was calm but heavy. Saurabh Malhotra was found half mad in his room. He was just muttering, "He's back. He's come to take back his room. I saw everything." He was quickly sent to the hospital. Ria was also mentally distraught and had left the hotel. Rahul went to the old picture that the spirit had pointed to. As he moved the picture, he saw a secret safe inside the wall. Opening the safe, he found Alok Burman's original will and all the hotel's legal documents. It clearly stated that the hotel's ownership was never with the Malhotra family. They had fraudulently seized everything. The will also stated that if there were no descendants of his, the responsibility of this hotel would go to the employee who possessed honesty and humanity in their heart. Rahul was that person who possessed these qualities. Within a few days, through legal processes, Saurabh and his family were evicted from the hotel. All their property was confiscated as their fraud was proven. Rahul took over as the new manager of the hotel. He first called all the hotel employees, told them Alok Burman's story, and promised them kind treatment. He declared that from now on, this hotel would be a symbol of honesty and humanity. Since that day, no more terrifying incidents have occurred at the Raj Mahal Hotel. But the staff still believe that Alok Burman's spirit watches over every corner of the hotel. He watches to see if every person who comes here is treated with respect and humanity, and if no injustice is happening in the hotel he built. At the entrance of the hotel is now a large picture of Alok Burman, his smiling face, and beneath it is written, "True wealth lies not in property, but in humanity." This hotel welcomes those who respect humanity. This message reminds new guests every day that every brick of this hotel is imbued with an extraordinary story, a tale of lost justice.